everyone must continue to fight COVID-19. Low potential for COVID-19 reinfection. Good afternoon, thanks for joining us, and you're watching Updates at Noon. I'm Jessica Lee. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin has called on every Malaysian to stay united in fighting COVID-19 as the pandemic is far from over. Now, he said if everyone manages to overcome this challenge, the spread of the pandemic could be contained with the mercy of God.
Let me remind you that the war on COVID-19 is not yet over. The fight is still on. We are doing well so far. We just uplift your spirit and continue to fight. If we persevere, inshallah, we will win.
In his special message to the people yesterday, the Premier also praised the people for the increased level of Movement Control Order or MCO compliance, which has now reached 97%. He said the level of MCO compliance in the country is high, and this shows that everyone understands the importance of personal health and safety. While announcing that the government has decided to extend the MCO for another 2 weeks until the 28th of April, the Prime Minister said every Malaysian would enter a new normal phase of life where they will no longer be able to do what they were used to do, including offering a simple handshake. Apart from that, he said the people will also have to get used to frequently washing their hands with soap or hand sanitizer and using a face mask to contain the spread of COVID-19. Now, the Cabinet has decided to allow several additional economic sectors to operate in phases during the Movement Control Order or MCO, which has been extended until the 28th of April on condition of strict adherence to health and safety guidelines. The Ministry of International Trade and Industry or MITI said other industries that are allowed to operate are machinery and equipment, aerospace and science, professional and technical services, including research and development, R&D related to legal practice, oil and gas, and activities related to COVID-19. In a statement release, it said registered traditional medicine services, hardware shops, electrical and electronic shops, optometrist shops, barber shops and full-service laundry shops are also allowed to operate. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali, said companies in the additional sectors listed may submit their application to MITI beginning Monday from 9 a.m. All applications must be made online at www.miti.gov.my, and only applications that are complete will be processed. Besides adhering to these enhanced terms and guidelines, operating permits are also subject to compliance with the requirements set by the Ministry of Health, MOH, and guidelines by other relevant enforcement agencies from time to time. The Minister also said failure to comply will result in immediate revocation of the operating permit and legal action taken on the offenders. MITI has reviewed the additional sectors that are allowed to operate based on importance in the global value chain or GVC and the country's exports. The additional economic sectors allowed also have high value-added multiplier, giving impact on the sustainability of SMEs in the economy, particularly in manufacturing and services, as well as size of workforce involved. The potential for fully recovered and discharged COVID-19 patients to be reinfected is very low. Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said although the possibility of reinfection was low, patients would be given counselling before being allowed home and recommended to always practice social distancing, take care of personal hygiene, as well as avoid from going to public places.
Mereka boleh dijangkiti kembali. Walaupun biasa dia kita lihat mereka adalah walaupun dah dikesan antigen tu negatif, ada kalanya antibody itu tak cukup. Dia ada antibody tapi tak cukup untuk mereka kalau dijangkiti semula. Jadi the antibody is not protective yet.
So far, a total of 1,830 people, or 42.11% of COVID-19 patients, have fully recovered and discharged, and this is more than the number of new cases reported. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said the ministry would always monitor the condition of patients declared free of the virus and carry out follow-up treatment to ensure that infection cases did not recur. Meanwhile, he said the ministry was studying and identifying the effectiveness of several test kits in terms of getting fast and accurate test results.
Kalau kita dapat laksanakan satu ujian COVID-19 ni dalam tempoh masa setengah jam ataupun 1 jam, itu adalah paling baik. Tetapi setakat ni kita tak jumpa lagi ujian rapid test kit yang dapat berkesan dengan ketepatan yang tinggi.
Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said the ministry will conduct clinical trials on the test kits from South Korea soon to ensure the effectiveness of the equipment. In another development, Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said the Health Ministry is looking forward to collaborating with China on COVID-19 research. He added that both countries can share a lot of testing techniques on COVID-19.
And research means today we are looking at the virus. Can we isolate that virus? Now, if we can isolate the virus and we can do the whole genomic sequence now, then we can actually identify the virus. So we ask ourselves, because this is a new virus, so nobody have the identification of this virus. Are we seeing this virus from Europe, from China? We don't know.
The Chinese medical team is expected to arrive in Malaysia in 2 weeks' time to share their experience in handling the COVID-19 outbreak in their country. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said basically the medical team from China would like to look at Malaysian hospitals' performance in handling COVID-19. The current COVID-19 outbreak does not discriminate between social classes. Senior Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said this to those who were rude and refused to cooperate with the medical staff involved in handling the pandemic. The senior minister stressed that social class or position does not guarantee that they would be safe from the virus.
Dan saya haraplah mereka yang berkedudukan tinggi itu sepatutnya lebih bertamadun daripada orang lain. Jadi saya harap berikanlah kerjasama kepada petugas-petugas frontliner sini, terutamanya doktor, nurses dan sebagainya yang terlibat. Kerana seperti saya katakan, kedudukan yang tinggi tidak menjamin mereka terselamat daripada COVID-19.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said this in response to concerns raised by several doctors and nurses on duty who were called names and treated poorly by Malaysians who returned from overseas. Asked on what action could be taken against the group, he said laws related to preventing civil servants from carrying out their duties could be applied on the issue. Now, on another note, the senior minister said the 1,000 ringgit compound may not be deterrent enough as many are still ignoring the MCO. Hence, he said the government might ask the Health Ministry to discuss with the Attorney General on the possibility to raise the fine or jail sentence imposed on those who violated the order.
Kalau kita lihat di luar negara, di Singapura misalnya, mulai 17 April, hukuman pesalah pertama adalah 10,000 Singapore dolar. Kesalahan kedua 20,000 Singapore dolar. Di Korea Selatan, kesalahan pertama sekalipun 35,000 ringgit Malaysia. Begitu juga di negara-negara lain. Di Indonesia pun, tak silap saya, 300 juta rupiah. Jadi hukumannya adalah besar dari segi yang ditetapkan adalah tinggi, iaitu melebihi daripada 10,000.
Currently, those who breach the MCO will be charged under Rule 6 and 11, subsection 1 of Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases, Measures Within the Infected Local Areas Regulation 2020, which carries a maximum 6 months jail sentence or a maximum fine of 1,000 ringgit or both. The Malaysian Armed Forces, or MAF, will strengthen and tighten the country's border control during the Movement Control Order, or MCO. The Chief of Defence Force, General Tan Sri Effendi Buang, said MAF would always take various factors into consideration in drafting the country's strategic defence plans to cover any situation, especially since the country is facing the COVID-19 pandemic. In a statement released, General Tan Sri Effendi said they even looked into various possibilities, especially in anticipating the action of foreigners entering Malaysia illegally by using red lanes. He said while the MCO and enhanced MCO are being implemented, domestic operations will continue as usual. He also said that MAF is collaborating with the Royal Malaysia Police, especially the General Operations Force, as well as other security agencies, to not only carry out border controls in Peninsular Malaysia and East Malaysia, but also the nation's maritime borders. General Tan Sri Effendi further noted that with the latest directive as contained in Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin's special message, MAF would further strengthen every land, sea and air control to be at the highest level. Now, as the provider of essential services in the area of electricity, Tenaga Nasional Berhad, TNB, is going the extra mile to provide comfort to the police and military personnel manning temporary security posts set up to enforce the Movement Control Order, or MCO, by illuminating posts without proper lighting. Now, the utility company has been striving to provide the best service to the people and is fully cognizant that several locations of the temporary security posts in the peninsula require proper lighting. When contacted by RTM, the Energy and Natural Resources Minister, Datuk Dr. Shamsul Anwar Nasara, said this initiative has provided convenience and improved the safety of the police and military personnel who are on night duty.
Saya dimaklumkan oleh Tenaga Nasional Berhad, setakat ini hampir 120 lokasi pos kawalan telah pun menikmati kemudahan ini yang disediakan oleh Tenaga Nasional Berhad, dan TNB akan terus mengepasi lokasi-lokasi lain yang memerlukan kemudahan ini. Jadi inisiatif ini adalah sebahagian daripada program CSR TNB, dan sebenarnya saya nak maklumkan bahawa Tenaga Nasional Berhad tidak mengenakan sembarang cas.
Among security posts that have been illuminated include posts in Bentong and Temerloh in Pahang, as well as in Kulai, Pontian and Kluang in Johor. Police arrested 6 people believed to be family members and seized various types of drugs worth 3.5 million ringgit during a raid at a house in Tanjung Karang, Kuala Selangor. Bukit Aman Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department Director Datuk Ramli Din said those arrested were 3 women aged between 36 and 64, with 2 of them believed to be sisters. Commenting further, Datuk Ramli said 3 others arrested were below the age of 18. On the drug seizure, he said it included 61 kilograms of shabu in 51 plastic packages, which were found in 4 white sacks, and 11.65 kilograms of pills believed to be Aramin 5 in 4 packages.
Keseluruhan dadah ini boleh digunakan oleh 360,000 orang pengguna. 360,000 orang pengguna dan jumlah nilai dadah yang dirampas ini merupakan 3.5 juta nilai di pasaran sekarang ini. So, di zaman ataupun musim PKP ini, inilah yang kita rampas yang paling besar.
The police are now looking for a man identified as Azam Muhammad Tasik with identity card number 900903-01-6577 to assist in investigations. In another development, Datuk Ramli said a total of 1,502 individuals had been arrested for drug-related offences at roadblocks mounted nationwide following the enforcement of the Movement Control Order, or MCO. He said of the total, 109 individuals were detained for suspected drug trafficking, adding that the tactics used by the suspects to smuggle the drugs during MCO, among others, include using food delivery services, tow trucks and hearse. And that's it from us at this afternoon's news. In our top story, everyone must continue to fight COVID-19. Before we go, we at the English desk would like to remind everyone to wash your hands regularly, practice social distancing, and most of all, let's adhere to the Movement Control Order and just stay at home. Now join us again at 7 p.m. for more updates on the latest happenings around the world. Have a blessed Easter weekend. I'm Jessica Lee.